Okay. Well, we're going to get started. Then when they monetize it, then when they monetize it, they're monetizing it as a lien, and it's not a lien. It's a notice of lien. Now, the guy that called in and made that statement about going to the tax court, are you still on here?
Me? I'm Lauren. I'm the guy that got the letter back. Yeah, I'm still here.
Right. Okay, that's fine. I wanted you to think about this. If you have a lien, who makes the lien valuable? Where's the value in the lien? Who makes it worth $100,000 or whatever it is? Do you know who it is?
No, I don't.
You make it valuable. So they monetize it. Now, since you make the lien valuable, who makes the notice of lien valuable?
I guess it would be them.
Nobody, because it's a notice. So what they're doing, see, there's where they're breaking the law. What they're doing is they're saying, you have a lien. You're responsible for it. The IRS gets it monetized, and then they get paid right then. The problem is they're monetizing a notice of lien, and there is no value in the notice. So what they're doing is they're creating a counterfeit security, and they're monetizing it. So let's go back. I had a couple guys call me this week and say that what they did was they went in and said that I am a non-resident, non-tax-paying individual. And then they went on and did their thing. Now, do you understand that it's not about you?
Absolutely.
Say that again?
Absolutely. I understand it's not about me.
That's right. See, and the reason I say that is okay, the guy that said absolutely, are you a taxpayer?
No, absolutely not.
See what you just did? You just made it about you. Think about this a minute. You're wanting the IRS to leave you alone, and you're telling them that you're not a taxpayer. How can they deal with you if you're not a taxpayer? Now, the next question is, do you walk everywhere?
You got to define what walk means.
Okay, one foot in front of the other. See, you should have said it the first time and said, well, what is a taxpayer? Because do you buy fuel for a vehicle? Then you pay tax on it. See, it doesn't say anything in there that you're a income taxpayer. It says taxpayer. You said no. Now there's a conflict. Now you've created a conflict.
Okay.
See, so it's not about you. Now, have you been on these calls before?
About 2 of them.
Okay, have you seen the 2358C that I've been able to obtain? Have you seen one of those?
No, sir, I have not.
Okay, here, I'm going to read it to you. It says, Dear taxpayer, thank you for your information on the tax tax return above. We agree with you. You are not legally required to file a tax return. Now, would you like to get one of those?
Love that.
You can't get one. Wow, my phone's ringing or something. You cannot make. Okay. Do you understand why you can't get one?
No.
It says, Dear taxpayer, you're not a taxpayer.
Oh, I'm not a taxpayer. I'm not a taxpayer.
See? No. See? We're so used to telling them who we are or who we're not. What it's doing is it's bogging us down, because then when they come back with an answer, we wash our hands of it. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
Now, I want to ask you this. Are you retired or are you still working?
You got to define working.
Well, you go somewhere and punch a clock, or you're on salary somewhere.
No, I don't do that.
Okay, you see, you're picking the wrong time to do that. for an example, you must pay a tax. You must pay, or you must file a tax return, or you may file a tax return. Can you tell me the differences in those two sentences?
Well, may is voluntary and must is a debate.
No, sir. No, must means may. Look it up in Black's Law Dictionary, so it's saying the same thing. See, that's where they're getting us. See, when you say, do you work, well, what do you mean by work? That's the wrong time to question it. Because when they said to you, are you a taxpayer? Nope. That's the time to say, well, I don't know, I could be, but what is a taxpayer? And see, it's not what you think. That's why I say it's never about you. It's not what you think. It's what they're accusing you of. So whether you're green, orange, non-resident alien, or whatever you are, that's irrelevant because they have to apply the law properly, and they're not. And that's how we're able to catch them. Now, just think about this for a minute. You owe $10,000 in taxes, so the judge says you have to pay it. So you go in and you ask the judge, well, I'm going to bring you in a bag of cocaine because it's worth more than that. Would the judge take a bag of cocaine for payment of a tax?
Probably not.
Tell me why not.
He'll try to classify it as a controlled substance.
No, cocaine's illegal. Okay, controlled substance, whatever, but it's illegal. You can call it that you go to jail. Now I'm going to ask another question. I want you to define it. What's the difference between cocaine that's illegal and an illegal alien? What's the difference?
The illegal aliens.
Wait a minute. It says illegal. They're both the same, the way I see it. Because if cocaine is illegal and an illegal alien, they both have the word illegal in them. See? Now, I'm just throwing things out at you because I think different. I think outside the box way more than most people do. Now, do you know what the guy I'm talking to, if you don't mind, can I ask you a couple more questions? You don't have to. I can get, if you don't want to do it. But
no, go ahead. Come on. I'm fine. Come
on.
That's fine.
I'm not picking on you. I'm just trying to show you. Okay.
Oh, I'm good with this.
Okay. I want you to tell me then. Define income for me.
Income. Would that be revenue? How do you describe it? Revenue based on your work that you perform.
Okay. Where did you get that definition?
I kind of pieced it together in my mind.
See, here we go again. It's about you. You're making it about you. Are you in front of a computer by any chance?
I am.
Okay, would you do me a favor and put in Title 31, Section 321. When it comes up, that's the definition of income. We're going to define things tonight that probably different than what you're used to. Does somebody else have a computer? If you would you pull up a 1040 instruction booklet? And what we're going to do now is we're going to get down to where they can't go. We're going to go down and get into this where if you get a summons, you can tear their head off. So did you get that pulled up? Title 31,
yeah.
Section 3. Okay, now go to small d. Go to small d as in dog. Small d as in dog. Number 2, and start reading that.
Small d. Okay. For the purpose of federal income.
Stop right there. Hold on. For the purpose of federal income. Wouldn't you like to know what the purpose of federal income is?
And that would help.
Okay, go ahead and finish reading it. Start over, and then I won't interrupt you.
For the purpose of the federal income, estate and gift tax property accepted under paragraph 1 shall be considered as a gift or bequest to or for the United States.
Okay, so for the purposes of federal income, everything that they're taxing you on is considered a gift or a bequest.
Correct.
See, you told me it was money made on something else. So income is defined by the IRS, by the Treasury. See? Now let me ask you another question, if you don't mind. Can you tell me what money, what's money? You got to pay taxes on money. So can you give me a definition of money?
Lawful money? Define money. Define money.
Okay. Congress and the Federal Reserve has defined money. And that's all we're talking about here, because the IRS they're coming after you. So let's use their definition so that we can see if there's a way that we can use it to our advantage. So what is the definition that Congress and the Federal Reserve has defined? Do you know?
FRN. Those.
No, sir. No, sir. Because the court has said that FRN is not money. Would you go back online and go to Modern Money Mechanics? And while you're doing that, I'm going to go and ask another question. When you get there, I'm going to let you read it to everybody on here. Now, the guy that went and downloaded a 1040 booklet, instruction booklet, do you have it pulled up? It's a PDF, and it's 105 pages. That's the booklet that comes with your 1040 form.
Let's see.
Okay. Does anybody have a Black's Law Dictionary that can look up a word? See, I'm going to try to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm doing two things at once. I have the computer going and my Black's Law. Well, I have them both.
I understand. If you would, download a 1040 instructions, and then if nobody can find it, I'll go pull the Black's Law and I'll read you what it says. So what we're trying to do here is get you in the position. People, I hear them say all the time, well, I don't make any income. Well, you don't know if you're making any income or not because you don't know what the definition is. Then they say, well, real money, not real money. Well, the problem is we have statutes. Statutes are telling us what money is. Statutes is telling how to pay tax. I just defined, I didn't do it. Title 31 just defined what income is. So income is gifts or bequests. When you go to work, do they give you a gift or a bequest, or do they pay you a check? See the problem? By us not knowing, you're going to fight. You're going to go into a fight and make a fight that you don't know right or wrong or how to fight it. Now, years ago when I was still in school, my father moved around a little bit. I moved 3 or 4 times when I was a kid. Same state, just from one side to the other, so my dad could make a little more money because I have 6 brothers and sisters. So what happened was, I show up in the first day of school, and this kid who's failed 3 times, he's 15 and I'm 12, or something like that. So there was quite a bit of difference in size. He says, "Hey, newbie." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow, I'm going to come here tomorrow, and you're going to give me your lunch money." I said, "I'm not giving you my lunch money." He said, "Then I'll beat you up." So I can't leave him well enough alone, and I can't hold my tongue. I said, "Well, how do you know you can do it?" He says, "Ask anybody." So I walked over there, and I kicked him right dead center, right in the crotch. He fell down like a sack of potatoes. I jumped on top of him, and I punched him silly. I turned his pockets inside out, and I took all of his money. About 2 or 3 days later, he looked like the Elephant Man, just all beat up. He said, "You cheated, you little prick." I said, "Well, who gave me the rules?" And he just looked at me stupid and walked away. See, that's the problem we're having. We're trying to follow the rules, and we don't even know what the rules are because they're not written like a normal person would write it. So, does anybody have the 1040 booklet, instruction booklet? Just download it. It's a PDF file. You can delete it when you're done. So, what I try to do is I try to read this stuff. Then I use this stuff against them by all I do is is what they say. They tell me to do it, I do it. They tell me I got to pay taxes on my income. So then now there's a problem because I don't know what they're talking about because I don't get any gifts or bequests unless they can define it. So does anybody have the 1040 instruction booklet downloaded? Okay. Okay. Let me tell you what Black's Law Dictionary. You do a 1040 form. Let me tell you what the word form means. It's a model or a skeleton to be used in a judicial proceeding with all the methodical words and phrases to be used in court. In other words, the word form is a model or a skeleton to put you in jail because that's what they do. So if we don't know what form is and we're doing something else, we think our income is something else, then now we got a handful because they're going to say, well, you know what income is because you defined it or you put it down. See, and so what I constantly tell them is, why am I in court? I thought taxes were something that you just do. You do. Well, apparently they're making it legal or illegal. That's why I'm in front of a judge. So what I try to do now is ask the next question that I ask, so they have to answer it. So if they can't answer it, then I open up their books and start showing them, this is what I see, but I can't make a legal determination because I'm not an attorney. Okay. Does anybody have the 1040 booklet downloaded? Okay.
Garrett, you can get that, can't you?
Yeah, you can just...
I got it.
Okay. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go to page 100. When you get there, I want you to read a sentence on page 100, and I'm going to let you tell me what it means, if you don't mind.
Okay, go ahead.
Are you on page 100?
Yeah.
Okay. On the left-hand column, it starts off, and you'll see 6011, 6012. Start at the beginning of that sentence and just read that sentence.
Our legal right to ask for information is Internal Revenue Code sections 6001, 6011, and 6012A in their regulations.
Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Don't forget to like this video. And don't forget to click the bell next to the subscribe button so you're notified when there's a new upload. Here's the front page of the channel. The bottom arrow is pointing at the subscribe button that's normally red until you click on it, and this one turns white after you subscribe. And the right one is the arrow. The top arrow is pointing to the bell. Now, the bell doesn't show up until after you click the subscribe button, and then the bell will show up. And that way you can be notified of new uploads.
Keep going.
Yeah, I need you to say the next bit and then stop.
Okay. They say that you must file a return or statement with us for any tax
You can stop right there. Now, there's their legal right to tell you to file. And what are they telling you have to file?
A statement.
But they say something before
a return.
Okay, now here's my question. What kind of a return do they tell you to file?
They don't.
There's the problem. There's the hook that I've got them. When I go to the summons, I say, well, it says right here to do a return. I want you to put in writing what return and sign it, so I as an idiot can figure out how and what return to file. Then it says or statement. Does that not seem strange to you? You have to file a return or a statement. Does that mean you have to file a return and a statement? Does that mean you only can file a 1040 form? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it does because it's not. There's no clarity.
That's exactly what they do on purpose. And the reason they do that on purpose is they're going to let you make the determination. I'm the guy that just won't do that. When I got indicted, the judge asked me, why is it you won't file a tax return? I said, because the book says file a return or statement. Now, let me ask you a question. Can you see? Give me a statement that you would file. If you had to file a statement, you had to file it. Tell me what you would file.
Eat shit.
There you go. You're good for this year. What about next year? And die. See? You see, what they're telling you is they're telling you right there, something is wrong with the tax system. But instead, we go there and say, well, I'm a non-resident alien. I'm a sentient. But see, I'm a. Not one place there says that's you. Once you say that to them, they got you because it's not telling you there that the reason you have to file a return or statement because you're a non-resident alien. It doesn't say that. All it says is we have the legal right to tell you to file a return or statement. Now, the problem is I filed a statement. But see, they don't tell me to mail it in. So I take the statement and put it in the round file. Now I filed and I did the statement. See, now you see, I'm not one that I don't know. I'm an idiot. So I try not to make any determinations because the reason for it is when you start making determinations, what happens is you're off. Back in 2000, I was an 18-inch RCA satellite dealer. Now, when we would install a satellite dish on the top of a house, if we were off just a quarter of an inch, that's not very far. So my guy installed it. We can't get a signal because we find out we're a quarter of an inch off. Now, I want you to think about this. The satellite dish is 22,000 miles in space. When I get out there, I'm only a quarter of an inch off. When I get out there to the satellite, how far am I off, do you think?
Probably millions or thousands of miles.
Over 3,000 miles. See, that's what we're doing here. We're only off a quarter of an inch. We're only off maybe a 16th of an inch. By the time you get to court, we're crapping ourselves, and we're confused, and now we go back to what doesn't work. I'm a non-taxpayer. See, now if you're a non-taxpayer, why do you pay taxes? Now they're going to put you in jail for being in perjury. See what I'm saying? See, these people are no good. They'll do anything they have to because they get paid when they put you in jail. Now, would you keep the 1040 instruction booklet, keep it on your computer, just hit the minus sign, and get a 1040 form and get that out. And I'm going to show you some things on the 1040 form that if you have to go to a summons, you just take those with you and hand it to the person that's talking to you. If you have to go to court, again, this is their stuff. The reason I don't look it up and read it to you because you won't believe me. You're going to say, well, that's impossible. So if you'll download a 1040, it's only 2 pages, and I'm going to have you switch back and forth so we can look things up. Now, while he's doing that, does anybody have any questions on what we've talked about so far so that we can move on if we need to? Go ahead. You look up a little.
Yeah, the question I had was, okay, so the forms the letters that we're supposed to put together, obviously they got to be very exacting to the point where we don't incriminate ourselves. Is there any template anywhere that?
Yes, but stop before you go any further. Here's what I heard. I need to write a letter. I need to be descriptive. I need to. I just told you, it's not about you. See, you're going to write a letter that's good for yourself, and it doesn't matter because here's the question. I want you to think about that. You go to a bank and you rob the bank with a Barrett fully automatic 50 caliber machine gun. and I go to the bank with a hammer, and I rob the bank, which one of us goes to jail?
Both.
No, I wouldn't, because a hammer ain't illegal. You go because it's a 50 caliber machine gun, and machine guns you can't have them. Wouldn't that make sense now?
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't, because you are correct. It's not the hammer and it's not the gun. It's the act. In other words, it's illegal to rob a bank, even if you're using a fork or a spoon. See, that's how we have to start thinking. In other words, it's not about you. So the letter you're going to write is going to be so generic that they have to define it. Because, see, if you get a letter in the mail from the IRS and it says, you didn't file your return, first of all, do you know what the word file means?
No.
Well, then how can you do it? Do you ever get a hangnail and you take a file and file your fingernail? There, I just filed. No, you see, I'm not going to do their job. I'm just not going to do it. So I have to know what kind of file. Number 2, you didn't file your return. What return? Your tax return. Where'd you get that? Well, you get it out of the booklet. I just showed you in the booklet where it says file a return. It doesn't tell you tax return. Well, you file an income tax return. Well, on Title 31, Section 321, D2 says, for the purposes of federal income, it's a gift or a bequest. Duh. See? You see how stupid I am? I'm a complete idiot. Now they're standing there saying, well, that's not what it means. Oh, but that's what you said. See? Okay. Now, do you have the 1040 now downloaded? It's 2 pages.
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to read me something. I want you to read line 7 for me, and read line 7.
Line 7 under income.
Yes,
it says wages, salaries, tips, etc. Attached forms.
Now here's my question. Wages, tips. Now, what is etc.? I made 7,000 etc. last month. See? Now, I want you to see what they just did. See, so under income, I didn't. So that's what So here I am, an idiot. Now I want you to read line 13 for me.
Line 13, capital gain or loss, attach Schedule D if required. If not required.
Check here. That's fine. Now I want you to think about something. You make $10,000, then you lose $5,000. You would put $5,000 there. What does that $5,000 represent? Gross income, net income, total income, taxable income, non-taxable income. What would it represent?
It doesn't really clarify.
No, it doesn't matter whether it clarifies. See, I'm just asking this to prove a point. So would it be gross, net, or something else?
Net.
Okay. So it would be net income. I don't disagree with you on that. Now what they've done is you have wages, tips, salary, etc., and net income. So if you have 3 eggs and 3 pieces of bacon, what do you have?
3 eggs and 3 pieces of bacon?
No, you got 6. That's what see how they're doing you? Salaries, tips, etc. If you put it there, that would be your gross income. See? Then you go down, and then it says something else. Now, what they're doing is, if you have a half, a half and a fourth, and you add them together, what do you have?
3/4.
That's 3/4. How can you do that when you would have a half and a fourth? See, in other words, in order for you to do any kind of arithmetic, it has to be in the same denomination or the denominator. Just like, how do you add gross, net, total, tips, and then say, well, I made total tips, total net. In other words, it's all different. Does that make any sense? See, in other words, there's another thing that I just don't understand, so I can't do it. Now, would you read me line 22 of the of the 1040 form?
Line 22 says combine the amounts in the far right column for lines 7 through 21. This is your total income.
Good. So see what they're doing? They're taking gross minus net. This is your total income. But one thing you're going to learn tonight is, would you go in, who's got the 1040 booklet? I want you to go in the 1040 booklet to line 29, page 29. I'm sorry. Go to page 29, and we're going to start reading it from there so that, because it says this is your total income. Now they're going to finally define it for you so you can make some hide nor hair of this, because so far I can't. I'm screwed up. So would somebody go to page 29 and let me know that they're there so I can show you what total income is? Okay. Does anybody have it?
Yeah, I do. I got to open it back up. For some reason it closed.
Okay, if you will.
Page 29?
Go to page 29.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, now, on the 1040, it said add lines 7 through 21. This is your total income. Now, on page 29, it should say line 21 in bold. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, now, what I want you to do, we need to see what line 22 is. So I want you to go through the booklet until you get to line 22 and define total income for me so I can show you how to do your tax return.
It says... it says taxable income. You use line 21 to report any taxable income not reported elsewhere on your return or other schedules.
We don't care about that. That would be, see, line 7 through 21 goes on line 22. This is your total income. So we want to define total income. So on page 29, it says line 21. Now, keep going down until you find the dark spot, the highlighted spot that says line 22, and read it to us so we can show you how to fill out your tax return.
Yeah, I'm looking for that.
Yes. And this is going to give you everything you need to know right here. Are you having trouble?
Yeah, I can't find it.
Okay, well, just keep going until it says line 22. Because this is
your
must
be it must be on the next page. Hang on.
That could be.
I found 23.
Okay, so you found 21 and you found 23. What does that tell you?
They're skipping line 22.
Okay, that's your total income. Wouldn't it be important to know what the total income is? Because line 22 is where all the arithmetic comes. In other words, whatever goes on line 22 times whatever percentage you're in, that's what you pay tax on. That goes on your tax. So the question is, what is total income? Because we got net. My question was, if line 13 is net and total the same thing? Because eggs, 3 eggs and 3 pieces of bacon, that's 6. No, it's not. It's 3 eggs and 3 pieces of bacon because they're not the same. So, wouldn't it be important to know what total income is so you can pay tax on it? So, in their own book, it's not there. Tell me why it's not there.
It's not real.
I'm sorry, what?
It's not real.
Well, because it's not a gift or a bequest. Okay, why is it we're having so much problems with the IRS and all that? Tell me why we're having so much problems with them.
Because they're sanctioned by somebody else. They're not really sanctioned by the government. They're not sanctioned by anybody. They're a collection agency.
Okay, but see, the problem we're having is you want to make it about you. You want to say, well, it does say total income, and it does say line 7 through 21 is my total income. See, what the IRS says is, well, we shouldn't have to define it. We're defining it here on the 1040. Yet when you go in the booklet, every other line in the booklet is there, except line 22. Why is it important on the top there where line 1 says name? Why is it important that line 1 is in the booklet? And yet total income is not. See, what I've found out is I'm a complete buffoon. But I look like a genius when it comes to these people because they and I do it. Hey, I don't understand. I'm having a question here. Well, go see a CPA. I said, you're not going to believe this. That's exactly what I did. But he's a bigger dick than you because he couldn't tell me either. See?
Mm-hmm.
And so what we're doing is we think we know what they want. So I'm going to ask you another question if you don't mind. Okay?
Go.
Okay. How tall are you?
Fine tall.
Okay. From the ground to the top of your head, how tall are you?
What denomination? Centimeters, inches?
See, that's exactly right. Because, see, as soon as you answer it, you never said that. I always tell them that I'm 166 centimeters. Because they don't. See, I make them tell me everything they want to know. See? So, here's my question. What size of shoe do you wear?
Metric or American?
Say that again?
Metric or American?
American.
American?
Yes.
Size?
Yes.
Don't have that.
I've already. See,
Not
I've
sure.
got you in the. I've backed you into the corner. See, and it's really easy to do. Ask me the same question.
Okay, what size shoe do you wear?
A 10, 11, or a 12. A 13 feels so good, I buy 14s. Because you did not define where. If I can put my foot in it, what am I doing with that shoe?
Wearing it.
There you go. See? So that you can just imagine. Now they're ready to pull their hair out. Well, you know what I mean? I do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See? So I'm not an attorney, so I cannot make a legal determination. If I'm going to court, there must be a legal something here. They'll say willful failure to file, and then they'll come up and say Rule 47 of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure. I object. The reason I object, I thought we were here for a law. You are. Then why'd you say rules? I want to go to the rules court. I want to go to the rules court because if I'm here for rules, then I want to be tried under the rules. And you see, everything they say, it boogers them up. And so what we're trying to do, is we're trying to get you to think outside the box. And don't make, when they ask you a question, well, define. Don't, if they don't define it, you just ask them, I'm confused. I don't understand the question. Let them ask it again. Okay, so are you saying, see? Because
our blog is texasrepublic.wordpress.com. Our website is thetexasrepublic.com. Our email address is oneyellowroseenterprises@gmail.com. Our YouTube profile is, this is the link, because YouTube doesn't allow us to have a customized URL until we have over a certain number of subscribers. And follow us on Twitter at Texas Republic for You and at We Are Texians.
Once you start down that path, like I said, they took 18 of us. My last name starts with a Z, so I was the 18th guy. The first 17 all went to jail. They got to me, and they were all there 45 minutes, an hour at the max, and they went off to jail. I was there for 9.5 hours, and they only got 4 questions answered. Because it just became it's a way of life for me. Now, let me show you what I'm trying to say. You go to McDonald's and you get a hamburger, fries, and a Coke, and the lady says to you, or the cashier or whatever, says, "Do you want this for here or to go?" What would your answer be?
Both.
Okay. She would say, okay, I'll put it in a bag and then hand you a tray. See, ask me the same question, and here's how I answer it.
Is this for here to go?
Yes.
Okay.
See, because what else do you do? Well, what else do you have? Or I would say, what else do you have? Well, what do you mean? Well, you asked me if it was for here or to go. The answer is yes. Or do you have a third option? See? You see, no one does that. No one thinks like that. So what this does is the attorney's hammering on me, and I'm thinking to myself, this is insanity. They don't even know what their book says. So what happens is the attorney said to me, the IRS agent said, you can't use our book to figure your taxes. I said, oh, so let's say I made $100,000. I'm ready to pay the tax. How would I know how to figure it out? He said, well, you would go to pay. Well, you can't use our. You go on our website. I said, I can't use your stuff. How would I know? Because everything to do with income taxes, it comes from the IRS. That's why I can't do one. That's why I don't follow one. I'm asking you a question. You can't answer it. Then you tell me to. I said, so the way I figure it, my gazintas, I told the attorney this. I said, my gazintas aren't that good. And I didn't say another word. What do you think she asked me?
What's a gazintas?
A gazinta? 2 gazinta 4? 4 gazinta 8? 8 gazinta? They didn't tell me. And see, and so what this does, it frustrates them. See? And so what ends up happening is I stand there and with a stupid look on my face, and the judge says, you can't be that stupid. I said, man, I thank you so very much. I'm stupider than that. See? Now what is he going to do? See? What we're trying to do is we're trying to show them how smart we are. In other words, I know how to do a tax return. How do you know how to do one when you didn't even know what income was? See? So once I go and read them, Title 31, Section 321D2, and it says, for the purpose of federal income, I say, well, here it says it's a gift or a bequest. They always say, well, that's not what income is. Okay, then since that's not what it is, it says it is, then what is it? Now they back themselves into the corner. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you. Okay, then I'll make it up. See? Now, did somebody look up for me modern money mechanics? Did somebody open that up? Okay, let me get my book so I tell you, so we don't waste a lot of time. I want you to go to page 3 for me, if you would. Okay? When you're on page 3, let me know.
All right, here it is. Who created money?
Okay, now on page 3, do you see where it says, on the right side, where it says, who creates money?
Correct.
let me find my, I gotta find my paperwork so I can read, I can tell you where to go and read it. And here it is, right here. Okay, do you see where it says on the second paragraph under who creates money, it says the actual process? Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Read that sentence for me.
The actual process of money creation takes place primarily in banks. As noted earlier, checkable liabilities of banks are money. Liabilities.
Stop right there. Checkable liabilities of banks are money. So, here's the question. How much checkable liabilities of banks do you have?
Every check you write it would become a liability.
Okay, I understand that. Go to the bank and tell the bank, I need checkable liabilities of your bank. See? You can't have them. They're not going to give them away. So there is no money. That's what it's saying. So will you let me pay taxes on the money I made? Of course. Well, checkable liabilities of a bank are money. That's the money. That's what Congress has said, and that's what the Federal Reserve said. So what we're doing is we're saying, well, gold and silver is, because it says Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution. Now, one of these things they're doing is constitutional. So apparently they're not using that. So what I'm using is what they say. I don't profess to be good at this. I just profess to be very fast on my feet. And when I think different than they do, so they don't know what the heck, they don't know where it's coming from. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I understand that.
So what I'm trying to do is get it set up to where if the IRS writes me a letter, I just take my certified copy of the court order and I mail it back. And I've never heard another word from them. I just never hear from them anymore. And the reason I don't, because what they're going to do is they're going to send me a letter. In fact, I had a IRS agent show up at my door, knocked at the door, and I recognized the lady. And I opened the door. She says, well, I need to come in and talk to you. I said, okay, I want you to. Man, I'm so excited. I says, do you have a gun in your purse? She said, yes. I said, leave it in the car. She says, I can't. I said, okay, I'll ask you again. Do you have a gun in your purse? She said, yes. I said, leave it in the car. She said, I can't. I said, okay, well, come on in and sit down. So I went in the back of the house and got an AK-47, and I laid it on the table. She said, what are you doing with that? I said, you're bringing in a known killer. The government said guns kill people. You told me you have a killer in your purse, and you're coming into my house. I said, this here, I've spent $2,000 on training it. So when your killer sticks up his head, he's going to seek and destroy. She says, well, I can't stay here as long as that's here. I said, okay, the door's right there. And so she was here 3 minutes and she left. And she wanted to know why I did that. I said, because you brought a known killer into my house. See, words mean things. And see, I just let them talk, and then I take the definitions, and I do that. The first time I went to court, I took a glossary page. What I mean by that is it was a bunch of words on a bunch of pages that was all defined by Black's Law Dictionary, by the Supreme Court, by the Constitution, by local. In other words, I had 6 pages of words, and they were all defined. And I handed it to the judge, and I handed it to the prosecuting attorney. I said, when you're talking to me, these are the words we're using. The judge says, we're not using these, and the attorney threw it on the floor. I said, okay. So she says, I want your name for the record. I said, okay, 1965. She said, what? Yes, ma'am. Chevy, Impala, 4-speed, fastest car in the county. She says, Your Honor, what's he saying? The judge says, what are you saying? Well, I have name defined. You said you weren't using it, so I assumed she said, what was your first car? I thought it kind of strange myself. See? So what I'm trying to do is to get you out of your box that you're in. so that you can think, but yet not be smart. And in other words, when they ask you a question, if they don't define it, answer it way, way outside of something. Has that helped you at all now?
Yes, it has.
Okay, now, the 1040 booklet, have you ever seen one before?
No.
So you've never gotten a 1040 in the mail and it has that booklet with it. You've never gotten that ever?
Oh, yeah, I take it back. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
See, yet you didn't know that. Did you know that was in there? Line 22 wasn't. Did you know that it says file as a return or statement? Did you know that was in there?
No, did not.
How come? How come?
Didn't read it.
See, that's your fault. See, I'm not picking on you, but what I'm trying to tell you is if you read what they're saying, you could not file a tax return if you wanted to because, number one, net income and total income, is it the same? Well, if it is the same, then why do they say that? Why do they say net and then total? Why don't you just call it net equals net? See, but they don't. And the reason they don't is our tax system is based on voluntary compliance. So if I can get you to not know what I'm saying, I can say anything to you and you'll just walk off the cliff for me. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, now, do you wear glasses by any chance?
No.
Okay.
I'm not sure what glasses are, but I'm not sure what those are.
Well, then you don't know. Okay, then if that's the case, then you don't know. Then you obviously don't know if you wear them or not. See, that was the wrong answer. See, do you wear glasses? I'm glad you asked me that, sir. Would you tell me what glasses are so I can tell you whether I wear them or not? See, I don't know whether I wear them if I don't know what they are. See, you said, no, I don't, but I don't even know what they are. So you might wear them and you don't even know you're wearing them. And that's how they get us. See, that's how they get us. Are you married by any chance?
I'm married.
All right. One man married to another person.
Got two other persons. Got two other persons.
Well, that wouldn't be married. One of them might be a child or a friend, but you can only be married to one. So, are you married?
What do you mean marriage? Define what is marriage? What is marriage?
See, I've already defined it. Then I'm going to turn to the judge and say, Judge, if he doesn't answer it, put him in jail for 90 days, and we'll come back here and pick up here. That way he can think about it. See, that's the problem. What I would say is, are you married? I don't know if I am or not. What do you mean you don't know? Because I have a job and I'm not married to it. So I don't know if I'm married or not. See, I always make them define it because of the way I answer it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
See, instead of saying define marriage, okay, it's where you got a ring and you put it on another person and you got a license. Are you married?
I didn't get a license.
Well, you see, what you've done is you're already in the corner. Now you're answering and you're trying to recover. So let me ask you a question. Have you stopped kicking your neighbor's dog?
Never.
Okay, so you're still kicking it, so you've never stopped.
Never.
Okay, there he's guilty. He should go to jail for being cruel to an animal. Just give him 120 days. See, they could care less why you're in jail. They just want you in jail. See?
Okay.
And see, that's what I try to do to them, where they ask me a question and my answer puts them in the position is, well, have you stopped kicking your neighbor's dog? Or I try to do who's on first, what's on second. And by doing that, they have to be very careful with me because they'll end up saying something that gets me off, because when I appeal it, they admitted to something that has nothing to do with it. Does that make sense?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay. I've been doing this for a long time, but at the first time I did it, I thought, golly, I'm going to jail. And they were after me to give me 55 years. And the reason they did it was because I was a paper terrorist. I wrote a book and showed people how to do this, divert this and divert that. And so they were going to get me for 55 years. And I was there for 9.5 hours. And they only got to question number 4. And I did it innocently. And the reason for it, because I realized that's where the problem is. See, they want you to answer a question. Then if you don't answer the question and you stand there and you keep saying the same thing, well, define that. I don't understand that. Define that. They're just going to put you in jail for contempt of court. So I answered every single question they ever asked. Didn't matter what it was, I answered it. But once they asked it, let me show you an example of that. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and all I want you to do is say yes or no. We're going to go through it really fast. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand. I get it.
All right, here's my question. Do you file taxes?
Yes.
Do you drive an automobile?
No.
Okay. Are you married?
Not to my job. No, okay. Yes.
Okay, that's all. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to do the same thing, but you have to preface me so I understand how to answer it. In other words, I want you to say, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. I want you to answer them yes or no, and then ask me the questions. But you got to tell me how to answer them first, so go ahead and do it.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and you got to give me a yes or no answer.
Okay.
Are you married?
Yes or no?
I'm sorry. Are you married?
Yes or no?
Do you pay taxes?
Yes or no?
I forgot the third one, but I get the drift.
It doesn't matter. Tell me what you told me to say.
You have to give me an answer, yes or no. I get it.
What did I give you?
Yes or no. You gave me an answer, yes or no.
Yes, I did. I gave it to exact. See, that's just how I am. That's why this nonsense went on for 9.5 hours. Because see, they're trying to get me to say, here's what they need. They need a yes, 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 no, no. There's the 5 answers they got to have, and you go to jail. With me, they got yes or no, yes or no, yes or no, not sure, I don't care, can't tell you, I don't have a clue. That's what they got. So, see, they could never get the sequence that they had to have to put me in jail. See? Okay. Now, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. For anything you're doing, how do you give the court jurisdiction?
By showing up.
There you go. You just made it about you. Okay, now I'm going to say that. Okay, I'm going to show you an example. I want you to answer it. You and your wife get a divorce. She takes you to the federal district court. The federal district judge gives her your house, your children, your dogs, your retirement, and you got to pay her $1,000 a month. Tell me what she just got.
Nothing.
Why?
Wrong venue.
Okay, so you show up. Now what does she get?
Still get nothing. Still wrong venue.
Okay, so she raises her right hand and says, I give you jurisdiction, Judge. Now what did she get?
She gave her jurisdiction. I didn't give my jurisdiction.
Okay, so you want to get rid of her. So you give him yours too. Now what does she get?
She gets nothing. The court can't hear it. That court can't hear that case.
So you can't give jurisdiction away. You can't give it to them. It's impossible. There's 2 jurisdictions, in rem and in personam. Which one is the most important for the court to have to get you in jail? What's in rem and in personam? Which one of those?
I have them both. Both.
Okay. So how do they ever get in personam? That's personal. How do they get it? The Bill of Rights says you have unalienable rights. They can
you have
never
to give it to them, and
nope,
you can't give it to them.
You can't give it to them. Okay, think about this a minute. Do you know what a bass boat is?
Yes.
Okay, would you describe it for me so I can show you what I'm trying to say?
Flat bottom. Most of them have a trolling motor and another motor. I mean, 2 seats.
And a big
some have
and a big seat. And a big seat in the middle, right?
Yes.
Okay, you go out and fish for 8 hours on your bass boat. You catch 0 bass, but you catch 500 trout. What kind of a boat are you in now?
I got a trout boat.
I'm sorry, you're in what kind of a boat?
You would still be in a bass boat.
See, that's the same thing as the court. When you show up, if they don't have jurisdiction, no matter what you do, that court can never have jurisdiction. It can't have it. They can make you think about it. The attorney comes in and signs it away for you. So if you go to the courthouse and the court says to you, raise your right hand and plea, what would you do? Tell me what your plea would be.
My plea? I wouldn't plea.
See, that you're going to jail for contempt of court. Why wouldn't you raise your right hand and say, I'm innocent until you prove me guilty?
I got to know the nature and cause of why I'm here.
Doesn't matter why you're here. How you plea? I'm innocent until proven guilty. See, you're making it about you again. Why am I here? Doesn't matter why you're here. That's irrelevant. See, what I'm trying to do is when I go there, it's the craziest thing. I was in court the other day. The judge walks in, and the bailiff says, all rise. I didn't stand up. So the bailiff grabbed me by the arm and stood me up. I said, thank you. What happened was the judge left. We sat, we were sitting down. The judge walks in. He says, all rise. I went and faced the backwards, and I stood up, and I had my back to him. The judge says, is that? He said, yes. He said, just leave it go. Because, see, he didn't tell me to face him. I do what they tell me. All rise. I rise and keep my back to him. Why? The reason they say all rise is because of the Bible. At one time, the judges brought the Bible in, and the law was based on the Bible. Now they come in, and it's for honoring the judge. But, see, I don't think he's honorable. So I just turn my back when I stand up. Because he doesn't.
Well, I had 5 bailiffs. Yeah, I had 5 bailiffs come to the courtroom because I'm not a little guy. When the woman said, "All rise," I said, "Did he stand when I came in here? Did anybody rise when I walked in the door?" No. Okay. Why am I rising now? Well, they went and got a bunch of bailiffs.
That's right. So what I do is I turn my back and I stand up. It doesn't matter to me. I do what they see. What I try to do is I try to form some kind of a basis that they're pissed and they're going to do something stupid, then I can win. And see, all I have to do is object. And when I object, then I take it, I appeal it, and I appeal it on the fact that the IRS told me I had to file the tax return, and yet in their booklet it says a return. They overturn it every time. Why? Because I can't do what they don't tell me. See? Then tell me it's a tax return and just initial the page. Well, we don't do that. Oh, okay. See? That's just how I do it. Now, does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask?
Check out our other videos and playlists. Republic of Texas RT documentary. Texas and other American states is under a military occupation. The Republic of Texas Forum of 2016. And describe the kind of people who would thrive in independent Texas. And so check them out.
I'm here for questions if you would like to.
Yeah, I'm still here, but I got a big question. I don't know if I'm going to say it. I don't care. The IRS is at me for $560,000.
That's great. And I can show you. You get a hold of Ed. Let him get me, and I'll show you how to get your money back. I got a process figured out now. Okay. But anyways, does anybody else have a question?
Yeah, this is David. I got a question.
Hey, Dave. All right, let me hear it.
I'm wanting to contract with a company doing outside sales, and
right.
they've sent me a W-9, and and I'm looking at this thing, and of course on the signature line it says signature of U.S. person, and I'm having a real problem here, wanting to give them a Social Security number and sign this thing.
What difference does it make? It's not about you. See?
It's not about me.
No, it's not. Okay, will somebody look up a W-4 and get it on their screen? Now, here's what I would do. Are they gonna put you as a 1099 employee?
Yes.
Buddy, I would be all over that, like white on rice, because that's the best scenario. You sell something and your commission's $200, you get $200. I don't care what they want. I don't care what they tell me to sign, because think about this. You got the perfect storm. You're going to go there and they're going to pay you, and they're going to give you 1099. What difference does it make?
I see your point.
See, what you're trying to, I'm giving her my Social Security number. It ain't yours. Number one, it ain't yours. Number two,
it ain't mine.
It does.
That's true.
See? So it's not about you. What it's about is what is right and wrong, what is the truth and what's not. In other words, see? Does anybody looked up the W-4 form for me? Pull it on your screen. I want to show you something. And this is what they're doing to us. See?
Yeah, I have it pulled up.
Okay, I want, if you would, read me, it's more than one page, but read me G, line G. Would you read it out loud to us?
Okay, line G. Okay, line G is other credits. You might be able to reduce the tax withheld.
Go to H. I'm sorry, I told you the wrong one. I'm doing from memory. Read H for me.
Okay, hang on. Line H.
No, it might be easier because there's something on there that's just absolutely, I still to this day cannot believe that what happened when I went in front of the judge. Let's start at the top and let's just read it. It'll only take me a couple of minutes. Read A. Read line A.
Okay. Line A. This thing doesn't have a line A. It starts at line C.
Okay, that's fine. Read C.
Okay, line C. Head of household. Please note, generally you can claim head of the household filing status on your tax return only if you're unmarried and pay more than 50% of the cost of keeping up a home for yourself and a qualifying individual.
That's okay. Now do D.
Line D. There's no line D on here either. This is a W-4 from 2018.
That's okay. I don't think they've changed it. Let me pull mine up so I can kind of tell you where to look, because it's very interesting what they're doing on this. And then
I got it.
Okay.
All right. Line A is enter one for yourself.
Okay. Now read B.
D is enter one if you're single, married, filing separately, and have only one job, or you are married, filing jointly, have only one job, and your spouse doesn't work, or your wages from a second job or your spouse's wages, or the total of both are $1,500 or less.
Okay. Now read the next one.
Is line E, child tax credit. See Public 972, child tax credit for more information.
Okay, that's okay. Now read the next one.
If your total income will be less than $69,000.
Don't worry about that. Go to the next one. I'm looking for something. Go to the next one.
The next one is F. Other credit for other dependents.
Okay, one more time. What is that? Read that again.
Credit for other dependents.
So what would that line represent?
Your spouse and children, perhaps?
Okay, but what would that? But it tells you on there. Wouldn't it be a dependent?
Yeah.
Read it again.
For other
It says dependent. Right? Doesn't it say dependent right on it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now go to the next one.
E. Other credits. If you have other credits, see the worksheet 1 through 6.
That's right. Now go to the next one.
It's H. Add lines A through G and enter the total here.
So what does G represent? Let's say you have 5 there. What would that represent? 5 what?
I don't know. Credits.
Nope. Go up 2 lines and it says dependents. It says it right there, dependents. You put it here. Right?
Yeah, on F. Yeah, dependents.
Okay. So it would be 5 what? Dependents, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Now go to the bottom where it says 1 and read me that.
1. Enter the estimate of your 2018 itemized deductions. These include qualifying home mortgage interest.
Now that's okay. Go to the next one.
And then enter $2,400 if you're married filing shortly. Or
go to the next one.
4,000.
Yep. Go to the next one.
Subtract line 2 from line 1 if 0 or less than or less enters 0.
Okay. Now go to the next one.
Enter an estimate of your 2018 adjustments to income and any additional standard deduction for age or blindness.
Okay. That's okay. Go to the next one.
Add lines 3 and 4 and enter the total.
Okay. Maybe they may have changed it this year because I've been all over them. Go to the next one below that then. Go one more down.
Subtract line 6 from line 5. If 0, enter 0. If less than 0, enter the amount in parentheses.
Okay. Go to the next one.
Divide the amount on line 7 by 4,150 and enter the result here.
They changed it. Okay, go to the next one.
Number 9, enter the number from the personal allowances worksheet, line H above.
Now, line H above, what did that represent?
I don't know.
Dependents.
Okay,
right?
dependents, yeah.
Okay, now read the one you just read.
Enter the number of the personal allowances from the personal worksheet.
Okay, so what they're saying is, how many allowances do you have? You get it from H above. H is 5 dependents. Down there, they're allowances. So my question is, and I've got to be stupid, so I asked the judge, is an allowance and a dependent the same thing? So, what is it? I'm asking. Well, is it?
They want you to believe it is.
I don't care what they want to believe. So, okay, let's say it is. When you were a kid, did your parents ever give you an allowance? Ever? Have you ever heard of anybody ever getting an allowance?
Yes. Sure.
Was it a boy or a girl?
Oh, jeez.
See? No, it says right there, total number of allowances from line above. The line above says dependents. So my question was, how come on the top it's dependents and on the bottom it's an allowance? The IRS agent said, well, it's the same thing. I said, well, I'm confused. When I was a kid, my dad would give me 35 cents as an allowance. And I, to this day, I'm going to go home and kick his ass because he's never given me a boy or a girl. Never. And so now, you see the problem they have with me? Because an allowance is something and so is a dependent, but they're not the same. See, these are stuff that they've done. See, this is what they've done to us. But the guy that asked me about the W-9, I'd go in there and I'd give them everything they wanted. Because at the end of the year, they're going to send you something in the mail, and it's going to say basically you made $550,000. Then you're going to go in there and you're going to tear page 100 out. You're going to write a statement. You're going to highlight it and say, eat shit and die. Staple them together and mail it in. That's what they tell you to do. That's what I would do anyways. I'm not telling you to do that, but that's what I would do. I got all my money. I want my money up front. I got it all. Now what are they going to do? Once you go to the tax court and you get your court order that says they don't have jurisdiction, if they try to come and befuddle you, you just mail it to them. Here, you don't have jurisdiction. See, what we're trying to do is give you tools that you have that you can now use and work. Just remember one thing. It's not about you, okay?
Thank you. Yeah.
Does it make any sense?
Yes,
Sure.
Yes, it does.
See, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not an attorney. But what I'm telling you is, if you read what it says and just do what you read, see, you think it says, like that one guy said, well, they want you to think it is. I don't think. I do not think at all on this stuff. See? I never think. Now, the guy that described to me a bass boat, you said it was a flat bottom with a trolling motor, another motor, and a big seat. Isn't that what you told me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. I have a 32-foot mahogany deep V inboard motor with a cabin on top of it. But on the back of it, it says, made by Bass. What kind of a boat would that be?
A mahogany boat.
But it's made by Bass. What kind of a boat is it?
Oh, a boat made by Bass.
That's exactly right. So could you say it's a bass boat?
Yeah, made by Bass.
See? There you go. See, what I'm trying to do is get you outside the box. In other words, when I asked you what a bass boat was, you described it. You never described the mahogany boat built by Bass. See? That's all I'm saying. See, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put them in a position that if they, no matter what they do, they're in trouble. And the reason they're in trouble because they can't answer it the way they can't answer it the way they have to answer it. They can't. So instead of me making any answers, I don't answer anything. No matter what I'm in trouble for or where I'm at, when they ask me a question, I have a befuddled look on my face, and I go ahead and say, I'm confused. I don't know what that means. See? And what that ends up doing is it throws them off. Hey, does anybody know what a cigar is? If you do, just spit it out.
Rolled tobacco.
No, sir. It's a sexual toy. Don't you remember Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton? See? Well, wait a minute. You're laughing at me, but that's okay. See, what I'm trying to do is get you to start thinking different. That's all. But isn't that what it says? Wasn't that true? He played with that lady with that cigar. So what would it be? Well, it's Well, yeah, it's a sex toy.
Oh, jeez.
What's the matter?
Well, I get it. No, I get it.
See?
That's amazing. I'm understanding what you're saying here. It's making a lot of sense.
Right. And see, what's happening is when the guy that called me and says, well, they want me to give them my Social Security number. I don't have one. They have one. I don't. I'll give it to them all day long to put me in the 1099 job, because at the end of the year, they ain't got a penny. I got everything. Yeehaw. See?
Yeah.
I don't. Then you know what? I'm going to do what the book says, and I'm going to send it in. Let them come, because when they come, that's where I do my best. But I don't know. I want you to think about doing it. I'm not telling you to do it or not do it. I'm not an attorney, and I don't give it legal advice. I'm telling you what I'm doing and what's working. You can ask Ed. Ed and I have been doing this now for a while, and it works way more times than it doesn't work. For a while there, it worked 100%. Now they don't know what to do. We're having to go back and run at them 2 or 3 times, but we still get our paperwork. Once you get your paperwork that says they don't have jurisdiction, now you can figure out what to do with it from there. You can have liens released. You can go to the IRS and make them pay your money back, because if they didn't have jurisdiction, they took it illegally. See, they robbed the bank. So it doesn't matter what they did at that point, because if they took something that they didn't have coming to them, you can force it and make them pay it back.
Hello, Kerry.
Hey, Ed.
2 more questions.
Okay, go ahead and ask them. Go right ahead.
Who's got the next question? 2 more. We got to shut her down.
Sounds like a ween. Okay, that's it.
If anybody is on here that's muted out and don't know how to unmute yourself, you go hit *6.
Okay. Can you hear me, Kerry?
I can hear you just like you're in my room.
Okay. All right. This is Gary from Ohio. I just had a quick question, because I'm working on getting my letter back, stating that they don't have jurisdiction. But you just mentioned that.
First of all, it's not a letter. It's going to be a court order. Go ahead.
A court order. I'm sorry. Court order. You just mentioned that you can go back at them and get your money back. Are we talking about just for the past 3 years, or are we talking about?
If you went back to 2000 to 2018, that's 18 years. If they didn't have jurisdiction for any of that, you get all that back. Think about this. If you have a lien put on you for $100,000, they got to give that back too, because all of that is damages, and it's without jurisdiction. It's no different than me coming to your house with the baseball bat and taking your wallet, getting in my car and driving off. There's no difference. The reason you gave it up is because of the baseball bat. That's like robbing the bank. If I rob a bank with a hammer and you rob the bank with a gun, who goes to jail? Both of us. Why? Because robbing the bank is illegal. Just like they don't have jurisdiction and they force you to give them your tax money. First of all, it's not even defined. I showed you that. It's not even defined in their own book. So what are they asking for? See, that's what I use their stuff on them, and they're having a fit with it. So I hope that answered your question.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
You got it. Okay, if you have another question, hit *6, and you'll be online. You'll be able to ask.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, Carrie. I have a question. I already have my order from the court. I want to know, is this the same thing as getting back a property that was taken?
Okay.
Or in the process of being taken?
Chances are you will not get the property back, but you can make them give you the cash equivalent because they took it without jurisdiction. But you can also try to get the property back. You know, you can do that, but if somebody's already bought it living there, they're not going to displace them, create even a bigger deal. So what you're going to do is, as long as you got that year covered, if they didn't have jurisdiction and they took your property, that's a damage. If the property's worth $250,000, you've been damaged by $250,000. They have a form that you fill out and an address that you mail it to. And right now I have 3 people that's done it, and they've called us and asked us if we would do an offer and compromise. So,
well, the property is not taken as yet, but they're in the process of trying to sell it.
Right. The IRS is trying to sell it?
No, the court.
Okay, well then when you give them your court order, get there right away and say, hey, they don't have jurisdiction to take it. As long as the IRS is involved in it. If they own 0%, they can sell 0%. If they actually own 10%, they can sell their 10% that they have in it. But once it says they don't have jurisdiction, you now have a court order that the IRS said they don't have jurisdiction. That's your hammer right there.
Okay, and this would go to the clerk and also the bank?
I would take it to both of them. Yes, I would. I would get a certified copy, and I'd write them a letter and say, hey, stop the sale, because they don't have jurisdiction. And what that's going to do is that's going to make them come back and tell you. They're going to come back and say, well, we have the right to do it because what? Well, you won't file. I do file. I file everything I'm supposed to. The problem is I'm filing a return. See, I file a return. Where? In the Brown file. It doesn't tell me where to file and doesn't tell me who to file it with. I do only what it says. I'm doing exactly what they asked me to do, and I'm using their paperwork to do it. That's all I'm doing. Nothing else.
Thank you, Gary.
You got it. I appreciate the call and the question. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, Gary.
Yep.
We're going to have to shut her down.
Okay, man. I'm ready.
Yeah, you've done a good job tonight. Fantastic.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks so much. I hope you guys learned something and you enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Okay, just a second. I got one announcement.
Okay.
Our next call will be October the 9th will be our next call.
All right. We're looking forward to it. Thank you. Yep.
Good night, folks. Thank you for calling.